Hey there folks, Champesky here, bringing you another audio commentary, and today we have a game from the Zontic Replay pack between LsSfow and Friend, by the looks of things, and it's going to be an elf mirror. It's going to be close spawns on Troll Rock, so obviously lots of action. Then there's a there's a couple different ways this can play out. Generally what happens is that there's just too much pressure for you to try and get to bears or anything like that. So usually it becomes lots of archers, lots of ancients of war. You can throw an ancient of wind if you're feeling confident, but obviously not for cyclone, just because then you can really do a lot of focusing with that -4 armor on your enemy's demon hunter, and that's something you can try. But again, in the time it takes you to get out even that one dot, you can fall a bit behind. So generally you have to be a bit ahead or feeling alright at least about your position to be able to get away with that. And as for heroes, usually Demon Hunter the Naga, we sometimes see tier 3, actually especially on this map. Things like the Priest of the Moon can be quite good because obviously that aura is going to affect all your units. Dark Ranger can be quite good as well. Tinker's actually becoming more popular recently as well as a third hero, but usually we don't see that tier 3. Usually it ends in a tier 2 huge battle of some sort, and looks like we do have a Demon Hunter Archer coming out here for LsSfow, and same thing coming out here for Friend. So very similar openings at this point. Both players will be Ancient of War creeping. Look at actually the one Wisp coming in here trying to drag the creeps away briefly, but LsSfow 2 on top of things, actually using his own Wisp, as you see, to bring the creeps towards him so he can creep a bit faster there. Nice try there by Friend, but unfortunately not quite enough to cause any delays, and as a result I think it's likely that Friend's going to creep out his own camp as opposed to going for the creep jack, and both the heroes will pop out in a second. We can see this Ancient of War going to take down almost all the creeps to very low health before the Demon Hunters even pop, just so that you can get the creeping done so quickly. And Mantle of Intelligence, pretty much the worst item LsSfow could have got there. Actually, both of them getting the same items, so this game really staying a mirror for this point. And both players likely, now that they know it's close spawns, are going to be very aggressive, as we see. Obviously, doing any sort of creeping is just so risky because it's so easy to put on some pressure, and then you do have to get your tech started at some point. But it's quite quick generally as well. You won't go for those Ancients of War or anything before you get to tier 2, and I imagine both players. Oh, actually no, LsSfow hasn't started his yet, but he does have enough lumber, so he should be starting it any second now. Looks like we do have a Friend just causing him a bit of trouble, doing a bit of damage to this Ancient of War, so it's good to delay him slightly, and looks like now that the second archer's out, he's going to start his Tree of Ages, and that's going to be so important to get out. And we can see actually there is one Wisp here from LsSfow, which will be able to do some scouting, but really, as I say, this matchup, you can throw in some curveballs, but normally it's pretty standard. What it comes down to is really positioning. And actually, one thing I haven't talked too much about is you can see Huntresses, you can see Glaive Throwers as well. I really like Glaive Throwers when it becomes an Ancient of War battle, because you get these really strong battle lines being drawn, and having those huge range units is very useful. And actually, looks like a Friend being got here with his Demon Hunter a bit too far away, being forced to run it away, but he knows that LsSfow doesn't have any dust, so he will be okay. And I imagine we're going to be seeing boots and dust now, bought now the first out of night, and probably selling a Mantle of Intelligence, or you might want to keep it for the second hero, but no, looks like he is going to sell it. And obviously you don't want to sell your TP either, because TPs are so important, because this all comes down to focusing down the Demon Hunters. And oh, look at this, the Archer's being caught a bit out of position here by LsSfow, and looks like LsSfow is going to be forced back though when the Demon Hunter gets into the battle, because the Demon Hunter does have boost speed, but one Archer actually running through here, 4 Archers for both sides, and looks like actually a lot more focus going down initially on Friend's Demon Hunter, so he will have to run it back. But we will now see sort of Archers versus Archers, which is very slow to kill each other. And it looks like the Demon Hunter actually getting off a couple hits on this Archer, but eventually is being forced back. That's really the punishment you take for doing any damage to not the Demon Hunter, and these Archers now going to be in a bit of trouble actually. Fortunately, yes, Friend did manage to buy the dust, so he will be alright for a little while at least, because the Demon Hunter is no easy way to get some dust, and if the Demon Hunter leaves, then these Archers, 5 Archers can obviously take on the 4 Archers quite easily. Actually, they're going for a couple hits here. Friend is going to be very aggressive, and oh, the hide just in time, going to be able to save that one Archer. And meanwhile, this Demon Hunter has healed up all the way. Actually, he's out of Moon Juice now, and he is tier 2, so we will be seeing Nagas being picked up for both sides very shortly. Obviously a bit earlier, probably for Friend, because he did start his attack a bit earlier, and getting out those early Noggins is so important. The Steam Hunter now taking a lot of damage, but so much moon juice left here for SfO. He will be able to heal up very, very nicely, and his tier 2 is almost done. And look at this, Friend actually building his Ancient of Wonders here. SfO just gonna buy it with a Wisp, and actually the Naga already out now for Friend, so actually this Ancient of Wonders a bit too late, unfortunately. I mean, the staff can't yet be bought, and buying that staff is so important because it's just another thing that you can really use to heal up, to get your Demon Hunter out of the fight at the last second. And this Naga, oh my god, the Naga might actually be scouted out here. Yes, he has been, and so this Naga almost certainly going to be killed because of that nice Ancient of Wonders positioning. And yeah, this Naga now left with no way of getting out here. Should be forced to sacrifice itself. Probably, maybe will be able to sacrifice itself to the creeps. We'll have to see, but you have to be very, very well timed with this. And no, he doesn't manage to do it. The Demon Hunter and the Naga both share the experience there, and now they don't want to take too long to get that Naga back. But in the meantime, this there will be a bit of aggression potential, at least for Friend. But actually, Friend not doing a good job of getting the creeps off his back. He could have just hidden his archers, but instead he didn't manage to do that. And finally, the one staff being picked up as well as a potion of healing. Obviously, as I say, these items are so important. And SfO now coming in to do some more and now Friend, you can see he is confident in his position, has built an Ancient of Wind, and now going to start to pump out those Ancients of War, as I say, and he even is getting, as we saw, that Nature's Blessing, which is just so useful here, because it does give you all that extra movement speed, and in addition, it gives you the extra armor that are on your Ancients of War, and really, if it does come down to an Ancient of War battle, that sort of thing is huge. Actually, one hidden archer here, I'm not sure what this archer is supposed to be scouting for, because it's very unlikely that Cap's going to be crept out here by his Friend, but certainly it's nice to have that there, because he has a lot of archers anyways, so in an alright position, and is going for Ancient Wind of his own actually, so he does want to keep up in that respect. As I say, those dots can be very, very useful as long as you can get to them. It looks like both players have managed to get to them by going with it very, very quickly, and so the pressure from the Ancients of War couldn't be applied quite yet. And we'll have to see how many Ancients of War Friend wants to build. Looks like he's actually just going to go for one, and we do actually have another one being constructed here for SfO to complement the other one, which will probably stay rooted to build those archers. And still, obviously, no Hunter's Hall, I don't believe, for either player, so it's unlikely we're going to be seeing any sort of Grave Throwers or Huntresses in this game. Obviously, Huntresses is pretty unlikely against all the archers, but it's something you can try and switch to, because you do get that extra bit of mobility, and they're very good for hunting down low-level heroes as well. And it looks like we do now have actually the Demon Hunter of SfO taking a lot of damage in a very, very bad position, but the dot runs straight into the battle, does manage to get off the Fairy Fire, but unfortunately it does die, and so it's just going to leave Friend with one, and this Naga now at very, very low health, but a nice bit of pathing here, going to force the Demon Hunter to TP home here for SfO, and looks like maybe a couple archers will be able to take him down. Yes, Friend does get one, and even manages to save this other one, and this Ancient of War makes it back just a bit too late, unfortunately, and this Ancient Wonders probably should be brought back, if not directly to the base, and maybe somewhere around here or here would be pretty nice, just so that you could have better access to it, because obviously being able to buy things like healing potions really, really on short notice is so important. And we do have more dots being produced here, as well as more archers, and Ancients, it's still only one Ancient of War moving around. Obviously you don't want to have too many, because then your army just becomes too immobile, because you rely too much on those Ancients of War, but it would be nice to have at least one out here somewhere, just because Friend's in an alright position. He forced that TP, he can try and exert a bit of map control here. We do have two healing potions on the Demon Hunter for SfO, so we'll probably want to use one early on in the next battle, and then wait a bit, and then obviously he'll be forced to wait a bit. But it looks like both players now bringing their Ancients of War into the battle. We do not quite yet have a level 2 on either Naga, but a level 2 on SfO's Demon Hunter compared to level 1 on Friend's Demon Hunter. But in that evasion, it's pretty useful, especially against all those archers, which do a lot of which obviously just do a lot of damage otherwise. But still, it's that evasion will be very, very soon coming here for Friend, and Friend now being forced to run his Ancient of War back. Obviously, both players needing to eat those trees constantly to keep their Ancient of War alive. It looks like SfO is going to lose his, and as a result, he is now going to be in a good position. He can try and take a battle. This dot actually being fairy fired and is unarmored, so the archers can take him down very, very quickly if they get into position. And both players now trying to jostle for position here. The Ancient of War has eaten a tree, so it is slowly healing. It's now going to be able to put on a bit of pressure, but a lot of Ancients of War here at home for SfO, and it looks like we probably do have some. Yeah, we do have some Ancient of War going up here for a Friend as well. So we do have a good Lord of the Rings style battle here, where both players will just be massing these for a huge tanking potential and sort of free healing, which is obviously very, very useful as long as there are some trees around. And it looks like Friend being forced to eat a lot of trees, being forced back a bit, but he can't go too much further forward because otherwise there's just going to be too nice positioning here for Friend, and he's going to be able to take out too many units. He even loses one dot there, but at that point he's going to have to pull back. Looks like LsSfow just wants to be able to push out though. Is building more Ancients of War, actually building a lot more Ancients of War. Probably should wait for them to finish, considering that Friend does have a couple done now and 2 more on the way as well. And level 2 now for this Demon Hunter, obviously for a Friend, as well as having still 2 charges on that dust. Actually, he never managed to use it, he just managed to deny it. I think at this point it might even be worthwhile selling, because really there's very few situations in which it's going to be useful now, and gold is just so important in this matchup because items are so useful with being able to keep your Demon Hunter alive, and obviously archers are so important as well. Actually, look at this one wisp here from So, just managing to sneak into the base and just stay there the whole game. Very sneaky there by him. And Friend now going to go for the Ancient of War kill, but it's so hard to kill those 2 Ancients of War now finishing here for Friend as well, going to be uprooted. And we do have a bunch of Ancient of War now coming in for SfoW, so SfoW's probably going to want to take a battle now. He doesn't think he's going to be in a better position for a long time, and actually does need to move slightly back, because the Ancients of War are getting a bit close, and the position is a bit exposed for his units, and his Ancients of War are a bit out of the way. But now he's gotten a couple Ancients of War out in front. This might be a better position for him with Friend's Ancients of War in the back, and we might be seeing a bit more of a push here from SfoW, trying to get out of here, because obviously if you can take an expansion, that just absolutely wins you the game. As I say, gold is just so important in this matchup, in this situation especially, because well, it's basically because lumber is not really important at all, and items are just so critical here in such a close mirror. And looks like the first Ancient of War going to go down here for Friend, and does finally go down, but SfoW's going to lose an Ancient of War of his own. One more Ancient of War actually finishing now for SfoW, so he does immediately uproot it, and one more Ancient of War goes down here for Friend. Actually, this one's going to go down very quickly as well. 3 moving up here on this top flank. Very nice positioning here by SfoW, who's now going to be able to push forward after having a bit of a disadvantage early game, having lost that Naga. He's really going to be able to make a solid push here. Only 1 Ancient of War in the back here for Friend, so he will be able to hold for a slight period of time. Maybe we'll be able to do some damage now that Demon Hunter's been staffed home to heal. You can see just how important time is on this in this sort of game. Just being able to staff that hero home when you know you're not going to need that staff for a while saves you a couple seconds. And actually, Friend managing to root one of these Ancients of War, very nice, gives him so much armor. And oh my god, the rooting actually now attracts these sea turtles, which is going to cause big problems. And I think this one Ancient of War going to go down very quickly, and these sea turtles now maybe even going to be killed before Friend can capitalize on this. Very nice here by SfoW. Picking up the Scroll of the Beast, actually a very good item in this situation. Going to be able to he increases DPS hugely on those archers, and the archers do huge damage, and usually using it sooner rather than later is better. We have Healing Potion being used here by SfoW, actually Healing Potion being used here by Friend as well, Roar Scroll being used, but misses a lot of the archers, and the Demon Hunter is staffed home yet again. This Naga now very close, will need to be pulled back a bit, and this Naga, oh my god, the Naga is barely, yes, just going to go down. Almost the archers got a block there, but unfortunately it was not enough. The range units from Friend actually did eventually get the kill there, and so it looks like we do have the Demon Hunter now coming back in here for SfoW, and SfoW will be able to push away this army now. These rooted Ancients of War actually doing a good amount of damage here. Obviously, you just need to keep these archers away, because they are medium armored, and that's going to take a whole bunch of damage from normal attacks of the Ancients of War, but it usually isn't too hard because the Ancients of War are pretty slow. And now a couple of units here for Friend, a couple of dots actually, which is pretty risky, because those things are very important to keep alive, because they obviously gain mana as they stay alive for longer. And the Demon Hunter now running out, probably going to buy Invuln Pot, but Healing Scroll can be useful, but certainly with so many ranged units, I think Invuln Pot is absolutely the #1 priority unit to buy, or item to buy. And one of these Ancients of War taking a bit of damage, but we can see that once Friend realizes that a couple of these archers are a bit exposed, he does eventually have to pull them back, and it looks like this Demon Hunter actually did buy a Scroll of Healing in addition to that Invuln Pot, and now going to move in very aggressively. Fork Lightning being used to take out a couple wisps that were repairing that Ancient of War very boldly. And now, we do have Grave Throwers coming in here for Friend. Going to be able to do some good sieging here. Really very nice. And at this point, SfoW is still not better off unrooting those Ancients of War, because obviously then the archers will do a whole bunch of damage to them instead. But still, it causes a huge amount of trouble here for SfoW, who's now going to be under a huge amount of pressure. Naga is now back out for SfoW, and a couple of these Ancients of War have managed to work their way to the front though, and that's just going to cause big problems, because now these archers don't have too much space to run, and eventually this Ancient of War could be forced back. Probably should have just got off one more hit and then died, because he's basically going to die no matter what. So I may as well get off that extra hit. And now Mana Burn goes off on that dot, actually gets 65 Mana Burn. The Demon Hunter is staffed home yet again, going to be able to heal up a bit more Ancients of War in production. Actually, one archer being failed to be rallied, and still huge amounts of battle in the middle of this map. Just such a good place to be trying to attack into, because there are all these trees here that you can just eat as you move forward, and we can see a bunch of these trees actually lining up here for SlSfow. Not too good there for him, and it looks like we do have the Noggin actually now under a bit of attack here for SlSfow, but obviously the staff can be transferred. There's an invuln pot and everything, so that Noggin probably going to be okay as long as SlSfow is on top of things. And Friend now being forced a bit back here. Unfortunately, these Glaive Throwers don't do a huge amount of damage once the Ancients of War are uprooted like this, and so you do need to be able to hold the line a bit better than Friend's been able to, because he has just lost too many Ancients of War at this point. And now the Demon Hunter being staffed home here for Friend, and Friend now going to really be on the defensive. Very, very nice positioning here for SlSfow, who now is going to take out the last Ancient of War there and force Friend into this defensive position. Obviously he does have this one Hunter's Hall now. Actually he's gotten 1-0 upgrades as well, and finally noticing this one Wisp that's in the back of his face, or been around his face certainly all game long, and even producing more Wisp now, because he just wants to have all that lumber for the Ancients of War, and obviously every time you build an Ancient of War you lose a Wisp, so certainly, especially now that he's building Glaive Throwers as well, he's actually has a bit of a use for his lumber. So interesting play here certainly by Friend. But at this point, SlSfow's looking to be in a very good position. He does need to be very, very wary not to go too far behind. Actually, he's taking an expansion here. This is risky, because if he can hold this expansion, SlSfow will almost certainly win the game. But it's just so easy to put on a huge amount of pressure. And bear in mind, not only are you down in the sort of gold and lumber count, but also there's a point where you basically can't fall behind, because if you leave that expansion exposed, especially against 4 Glaive Throwers, you just lose that expansion so quickly, and then that can be it, because you've invested all that money and it just hasn't paid off, and as a result it just means that you do have to be so defensive and so strong around one point. And obviously it's going to be tricky for him to for a Friend to get around to actually attack that without going through the army. So really having one strong defensive line here is really what SlSfow needs now. And as long as Friend doesn't try and expand, he will be in a very, very strong position. And we do know how Friend, pushing forward yet again, does have a couple Ancients of War in the line and a couple more under construction. But certainly he's actually not producing any units at the moment. So he will need to do a lot of damage here. SlSfow now building more Ancients of War in the back. And actually, one of these turtles being attracted here by the rooting of the Ancients of War by the looks of things. And looks like actually we do have this one Ancient of War running a bit too far forward. Obviously, sometimes you want to root it, but against all these Glaive Throwers, probably best not to, especially considering that they're 1-0 upgraded. Actually, he is rooting it here, and it's going to go down so quickly now to these Glaive Throwers, if he can hold the line for a bit, and he can. And it looks like this one Ancient of War could go down very, very quickly. You know, these turtles causing huge amounts of havoc in the side, but eventually going to be turning around. And now this Ancient of War now going to go down here for a Friend, because SlSfow obviously can't push too much further forward because of the nice concave via SlSfow. And now Fork Lightning actually going off to take down one archer, get a couple down to a much lower health. The Glaive Thrower goes down actually as well. SlSfow being able to put on some very, very nice pressure here, even getting off a good mana burn there. But healing potion being used here by Friend, obviously very, very important to keep the pressure on, because otherwise this expansion will just cause too much problems. Healing Scroll being used, then the staff being used at the last second as well. Now this Nog under a lot of pressure. Friend being forced to micro it back, but it does manage to keep it alive. Actually, this one Ancient of War even gets off a hit there on that Demon Hunter, and now one dart goes down, and an archer now going to go down as well. Yes, it will. Very, very nice play here by SlSfow, who will now be able to, even if he wants to, take out the remainder of these creeps here. And we do not have SlSfow going to be actually losing this one Ancient of War, but a couple more on the way here for Friend, so he will eventually be able to push back forward again. And we do have this greater invuln popping having been picked up here from these turtles, so very, very nice here for Friend, because that's just such a huge item to get at this point in the game. Because it'll just allow him to be so aggressive and really push forward with this Demon Hunter, and then even take a lot of damage on it, then use it, and then sap it home. You can do so much with that greater invuln pot. And looks like this archer does actually go down. That's going to be level 3 here for this Naga, who now will be getting level 2 Fork Lightning, which is a very, very useful skill. This Ancient of War might even get off a couple hits on this Glaive Thrower. Does manage to get off one hit on the Glaive Thrower, one hit on the archer. Very nice here by SlSfow. And now we do have Friend yet again going to be pushing forward, but the turtle's being brought in yet again. Oh my god, this is so unfortunate, because it's going to be this Glaive Thrower, just barely survives, and as a result, very, very bad positioning here for Friend. Does need to be much more careful about where he puts his units, and looks like he will root this one Ancient of War. And now we do have a couple more Ancients of War coming in here for SlSfow, but he doesn't have any dots left by the looks of things. So he won't be able to do as good focusing on heroes as he'd like to, but we can see both Demon Hunters now just have to be kept back. because otherwise they just take damage too quickly, and really you do need to get experience on them, so you can't be constantly bringing them in, staffing them home, and then wasting all your moon juice as well, obviously. And so actually getting one Ancient of War in the back here. Friend will need to take it out very, very quickly. Then micro back these low glaive throws. Actually has 5 glaive throws now. Can even start to repair them with wisps if he likes, but he actually loses this one Ancient of War, and looks like this Naga now going to be able to chase forward and get his level 3, but much later than the level 3 here for Friend. So Friend now going to be able to finally do some good pushing here. The expansion is now up and running, just been going for about a minute, so not too much income yet for LsSfow, who is at 52 food actually compared to the 50 of Friend. So actually mining very slightly more, but despite the fact that he has 2 expansions. And it looks like we do have LsSfow now. Gonna maybe even lose this one Ancient of War. No, it looks like Friend gonna pull back because of these archers moving up here, and these Ancients of War. It would be nice to have one here, I think, and one here instead, but unfortunately that wasn't the position he had, and so instead he's actually going to be forced into a really weird position now where he could be sandwiched if any Ancient War could come from this side, but it looks like they are still under construction, unfortunately. So the LsSfow going to be able to move in and actually going to be able to take out one Ancient War very quickly, and LsSfow's expansion probably going to survive for a bit longer at very least. These glaive throwers not being able to do a huge amount of damage here. Friend putting down more Ancients of War, but that's very ambitious of him, that he's not going to have to be to get out there. But oh, the Demon Hunter does go down. Oh my god, it looks like LsSfow missed the staff there, or didn't pass the healing potion or something. But that's very unfortunate there for him, because keeping those Demon Hunters alive is very important. The Naga now being forced back as well, and looks like we do have the Demon Hunter now being brought back at the tavern, but actually being passed the healing potion immediately. That's so important, because obviously there's very much less survivability on this Demon Hunter now that's just been brought back, because they can't even mana burn or anything, although I suppose it can actually be mana burnt, which is going to help quite a bit as well. So maybe it balances out even, I'm not quite sure. And this Ancient of War now being constructed here by Friend, as I say, very ambitious, and it hasn't even like attracted a bunch of archer shots or something like that to waste time, but actually, oh look at this, a great flank here by Friend, gonna be able to take down a bunch of archers here, very nice, and actually he's gonna get this level 4 Demon Hunter off this, actually getting pretty close to a level 4 on this Naga as well, very nice by here, and actually maybe this expansion now gonna be under a bit of threat. The Demon Hunter does come back, takes out one wisp, and it looks like we do have these, oh the dots are very vulnerable now. 2 dots do go down in very rapid succession, and Friend with a lot of low units now does need to be pulled back, but he does actually lose one more archer in the process, and this Ancient War did actually manage to finish, but unfortunately it was too late, and I'm amazed actually that our Friend actually managed to hold in that really awkward position for so long, but unfortunately it was not to be, and actually now this Ancient War are going to take damage very slowly, because the Demon Hunter doesn't want to attack it, and LsSfow now, if there's 2 bases against 1, is in a good position as long as he can continue to hold, and really the pressure with these glaive throwers, and bear in mind the 1-0 upgrades on both the archers and the glaive throwers compared to 0-0, I'm pretty sure, yeah, 0-0, and no hunters all on the way. It's very nice there for Friend. But LsSfow now with his Tree of Ages uprooted, I imagine both players uprooting their Tree of Ages, going to try and bring them out to take more expansions. But as to where LsSfow's going to take his expansion, it's unclear now. Obviously Friend can just take his down there, but it's a bit trickier here. Oh, the Demon Hunter gets very low, being forced to be staffed back here by LsSfow. So now actually taking a lot of damage on his Naga, and the Naga is actually vulnerable. The Naga is probably going to die at this point. The Archer is trying to move back to try and get in the way of that Naga, to try and pathing block it so the cold arrows can't be used, and maybe the Naga is going to be able to sacrifice himself, but it's just looking a bit uncertain. The Naga even being brought around here, no, not sacrificing himself to the creeps, and oh my god, the Naga does manage to get off the kill there, and Friend's Naga survives with very low health, and the Tree of Ages now being brought forward, and all the glaive throwers being cut out of position here by LsSfow. Very nice here. Now there's a couple wisps even being cut out a bit as well, but probably gonna survive. Maybe one's gonna have to detonate. No, looks like they're both gonna survive, unless, oh no, he puts them on trees, and yeah, they both are forced to detonate in the end. And oh, more glaive throwers being caught out here, but it looks like we do have a couple archers out here actually gonna be able to cause a bit of trouble, and LsSfow eventually gonna be able to chase this away, but LsSfow is going to be chased away. Friend is going to be able to chase him away, and Friend now going to be able to even force the Demon Hunter back to the moon walls, and the Tree of Ages actually haven't moved yet, which is an odd choice, certainly. I think it would be very nice if he moved out. He could even put it somewhere like here, just so it would cause more problems if LsSfow was ever felt his expansion was under threat. And Friend now taking a lot of damage on this Ancient of War. Obviously, he can target wisps. Actually, that might be the better choice here. He knows this. Oh, actually, Ancient of War survives very close there, but the Ancient of War can 2-shot wisps. And even though lumber isn't important at all here for SFO, it will be very, very nice just to cause problems, because obviously the Whisper need to build more Ancients of War, and that's really the big use for them at this point. Friend now very much on the aggressive here, just trying to chase down this Demon Hunter before the Naga comes back out. Naga about 75% of the way back, but a lot of archers come in here for SFO, and will be able to chase away this Naga. Naga actually down to about 60% health, so does need to be a bit careful, but the Demon Hunter is actually the one with the staff at the moment, so will be perfectly alright to staff that home if need be. And now the Demon Hunter taking a lot more focus, does have a healing potion, and does have archers and an Ancient of War to mind his back, so we will be okay. And Fred even bringing in one Ancient of War here just to do a bit of damage, but it looks like, oh, this one archer could go down, maybe some more could go down if Friend's very, very careful about not losing his own archers here. But it looks like we do have, it looks like actually Ancient of War getting a couple hits here off on this archer, but eventually we'll be able to get away, and Fred now actually will be able to get his Demon Hunter away as well, which has been taken out to half health, so SFO can be a bit aggressive if he likes, but actually that Fair Fire goes off, and SFO gonna have to turn around, because otherwise the position would just be too bad with his Ancient of War here. And Friend actually not being left with too much now, really has managed to finally get this expansion up and running, but at this point really it's just been too long. I think we do have what 4,000 gold difference, yeah, about that actually, maybe a bit close to 3,000 gold difference. So a bit of problems here for Friend, as SFO is able now to use his Tree of Ages aggressively, which is really ambitious. Obviously Tree of Ages has a bunch more health and does actually a bit more damage than Ancient of War, but it's just worth so much more considering that he can use it to take an expansion if he ever gets the time to take it. And he feels that that's a good position he can be in, because obviously it can be a bit risky to try and take an expansion that's a bit too far away, because otherwise you just can't be left trying to defend too many places at once. Nice Fork Lightning that actually takes a lot of these archers down to half health, and we don't have any scrolls of healing, as I say, much less useful. Actually, look at this, a mana potion being bought here for this Naga. That's an interesting choice. Gonna allow him to get off extra Fork Lightnings, but considering that there's not too many units here, and lots of the units are archers or glaive throwers, the Fork Lightning not as useful as I think as maybe an extra healing potion or an invuln pot would be, and we don't have an invuln pot actually on this Demon Hunter. Maybe it's just too far to go to get that when there's such constant aggression. One archer goes down very, very quickly here for SFO, and actually maybe we will be seeing some more aggression, but oh, two units taking down very low health, and unfortunately no follow up here for SFO, who's actually rooted his Tree of Ages right next to Friend's Tree of Ages, and maybe now be able to go a bit more on the aggressive, building more Ancients of War here as well. This is very, very nice. It is going to allow him to eventually push and take down the Tree of Ages, but he just needs to be very, very careful. Oh, Fork Lightning takes on 2 units there. Nice play there by him, and that was actually a result of that potion of mana being used, but SFO now taking a lot of damage here on this Demon Hunter. Will need to staff at home eventually, but managed to do a lot more damage to Friend's Demon Hunter before he's forced to, ooh, even forces the TP there, because the staff's on the Demon Hunter and the healing potions on the Naga, a bit wonky there, but bear in mind that all the TPs are going to be going to this base here. Oh, great position here. He can do a lot of damage to this Tree of Ages, but oh, he needs to be so careful, runs the Demon Hunter the wrong way around, and does eventually have to turn it around, and this Tree of Ages will have to go and pick and eat a tree, and in the meantime, the SFO will be able to do a bit of damage to this Tree of Ages, which obviously can't uproot to eat a tree because it will lose this single gold mine, which actually only has 4 wisps on it. We'll need to, actually I guess you just brought one out to repair this glaive throw here, so not too big a loss there, because you will be able to fix that very, very shortly. And this Tree of Ages now being brought back, and a nice wall of Ages of War being built here by SFO, and really will be able to see a lot of aggression, and even another Moonstone being used. We've seen a couple use this game so far, and it's just so important that you use them only at the correct timing, because obviously they replenish your opponent's Moonlaws as well as your own, and we can see SFO completely out of mana on his Moonlaws, and actually a Friend out of mana on his, and I think it was probably Friend who used the Moonstone, because he is a very, very low hit point Demon Hunter, and does need that Moon Juice more desperately, but it is going to regenerate a lot of Moon Juice for SFO as well, and looks like we do SFO finally actually rooting these Ancients of War, but now the Glaive Throwers will be able to go do a lot of work on them. And Friend has managed to keep this entire gold mine alive, which is certainly a nice boon to say the least. And oh, actually, we might be seeing an expansion being taken here by SFO. That'll be very, very nice if he can get it up and keep it defended. Maybe even putting an Ancient of War somewhere like here, and here would be very, very useful just to get in the way a bit if Friend ever tries to flank around, because obviously he does have these glaive throwers, so he can actually take them down very, very quickly if he can get to that directly to the expansion. And actually, this one Ancient of War actually building an archer, going to be taken down, and actually unfortunately it should have been one of these further back Ancient War that was building archers, because this one might even have been better to uproot considering all the damage coming from these Ancients of War, or from these glaive throwers onto the Ancients of War. and we do not have a whole bunch of archers, so many archers here for LsSfow. Really very, very useful, as well as picking up a Scroll of the Beast there. As I say, actually a great item there, because it's just going to be able to hit so many archers, and almost all the damage is coming from the archers, and occasionally the Demon Hunter if you can get into the battle, but the Ancients of War do really prevent that at times. Close attack +9, and this is, as I say, one of the situations actually where it might be better to pass it off to the Naga, or maybe even sell it if he becomes desperate for gold, considering he has 2 expansions going, or 2 mines soon running. I think he'll probably just keep it, because that extra damage can be very, very nice if you can afford to keep it. And meanwhile, this Ancient of War Wolf doing a great job of buying time for LsSfow, allowing him to do some creeping. Maybe you're going to have to go home and heal up, and building more Ancients of War in the meantime. And LsSfow now, we can see he's actually pretty short on gold, all things considered, just because he's being forced to spend a lot of money on building more Ancients of War, but certainly he does have a great army if he can ever engage with his Ancients of War in a good position. But Friend actually managed to build a lot more Grave Throwers and putting up a lot more Ancients of War as well, so maybe gonna be able to push forward. But oh my god, just such non-stop aggression. So now with his Ancient of Wonders here actually, this could be more useful, I think, now in this situation to have the Ancient of Wonders there than it was earlier. Oh, a nice flank comes down here for LsSfow. Good to be able to get a good amount of damage off. Unfortunately, he didn't play it completely perfectly. He should have sort of played it a bit slower, not run straight into those Ancients of War. But as it happens, he did lose only a couple units. And in the meantime, Friend's gonna have some time to reposition a bit, root his Ancients of War in a defensive posture. And LsSfow's now going to be back to stage 1, and obviously LsSfow does need to be careful with these dots as well, because the Glaive Throwers do siege damage. Oh, there we go, it's a perfect example of that, where it just takes so much damage on that dot, almost dies, but obviously a low hit point dot in this point is almost as useful as a high hit point dot. If you can't take it out, it's almost not worth it, because the dot is so unlikely to be focused unless you actually specifically go for it. And oh wow, such aggression here by LsSfow, really merging straight past these Ancients of War, using the Scroll of the Beast as well, managing to take down another Glaive Thrower, and maybe can even take down a couple of these Ancients of War. Unfortunately, Fork Lightning would have been better off here, I think, but it does go down on this side, and finally a couple of these archers starting to go down, but a dot actually goes down here for Friend, and we do have actually this one Ancient of War doing a huge amount of damage as these Glaive Throwers are chased around, but Hide now being used here by LsSfow, who does still have his dust. Our Friend does still have his dust, so maybe he'll now be able to use it, and I'm amazed he hasn't, maybe he's even forgotten he has it at this point, but finally using these archers, and oh my god, there's such crazy damage coming out here from the Demon Hunters now that they're actually being able to engage, but does the Friend now being able to do a bit of damage actually with his Ancient of War, but we can see these archers taking out these Glaive Throwers so quickly, and now we do have level 5 on this Naga. That's just going to be so terrifying. LsSfow's now really in a bad position. He does need to be he does need to move back. These archers now actually going to be revealed even just because of the day, not even just because of the dust actually, but the dust being used just to save a bit of time, and a Steam Hunter now getting very close to level 6 actually. Level 6 Steam Hunter can really change us up, because obviously it has the range, it has the Chaos attack type as well, both of which are so useful against when you're fighting Ancients of War. And we do now have a couple more archers here from LsSfow pushing up, going to be doing a bit more damage to this Ancient of War, and LsSfow now going to eat another tree. Actually, we'll need to eat a second tree as well to get that Ancient War up to full health. You can see how much of this island is actually, or the tree island is actually gone now, just because of constant healing on these with these Ancients of War, and more glaives now being produced here by Friend, being produced up front actually, as opposed to being using Ancients of War back. Actually, we do have one misrallied Glaive Thrower here, and I think we probably, we did have that archer eventually picked up there, and we do now have incredible aggression now coming here from LsSfow yet again, really pushing forward this Naga using a clarity potion, but it's immediately mana burnt. Does still have enough for one Fork Lightning. There it goes there. A couple of these archers being taken down to very low health, and will be forced eventually to turn around. No, LsSfow's going to continue with it. Very aggressive here. Does need to be careful. Oh, this one Glaive Thrower moves the wrong way. Is Staff Tome though, very nice, and as a result, all the archers move forward trying to chase the Staff Tome Glaive Thrower. Very bad attack there by LsSfow, who did lose an extra archer, really for almost no gain. And look what we do with this Naga being forced back yet again, and another mana potion being used here by this Naga. Now that it's level 5, actually I think the mana potions are a bit more useful, though certainly when you're behind in the golden come as Friend is, you need to be very careful about when you use them. But if you can use it to take out 2 archers, I mean certainly that's a worthwhile investment. So managed to build up a lot more Ancients of War now, and a lot more archers, sorry, and we'll be able to take down these Ancients of War. Doesn't have a huge number of Ancients of War, has a couple in the front, and then one I think at home. Yeah, just one at home. There's also an Ancient of Wind, which he hasn't been using too much. It'd be nice if he built a couple dots and then just brought that Ancient of Wind into the battle. Ancient Winds aren't as good as an Ancient of War, but if it's sort of free and you're not really using it too much, it can be pretty useful, especially if you already have a couple dots out. And you can just even keep one at home in case you use the first one, then bring it back out, because all you really need it for is the fairy fire. Nice to have that vision, but most importantly, being able to take down that armor is so nice. And we do have Friend doing a very nice attack here with his 4 glaive throwers, taking down an Ancient of Wonders as well as 1 Ancient of War, and now 1 archer goes down into those glaive throwers as well. Will the second one? Yes, it does. Very nice kills here with these glaive throwers, but they do need to pull back, and unfortunately they don't manage to, and so they will be focused down one by one. But let's see, this Demon Hunter from LsSfow is taking a lot of damage. Invuln Pop finally being used here, but Friend's now going to be forced to use his healing potion. He does use it there, and now the Nog actually needs to be very careful about where he moves. And actually we do have, the archer's taking a bit too much damage here from the Ancient of War, and finally managed to pull back. And we do have a lot more aggression coming here from LsSfow, who's going to be able to try and do a bit of focus here onto this Demon Hunter. Fork Lightning now goes off, but the Demon Hunter taking a lot of damage to the 38 health, and does go down. Oh my god, now this Demon Hunter in a great position, is level 5, going to be able to do a lot of pushing, and that level 5 Demon Hunter is going to take a long time to come home. And LsSfow maybe going to be able to get his level 6 Demon Hunter, uses a healing scroll. You can see even pull his Demon Hunter back, so he's hit all his archers there, and they're now all at full health. So nice there by LsSfow, who's now going to be able to take down a lot of units here, and does have the income advantage as well, bear in mind. And we presumably have Friend saving up to buy his Demon Hunter back at the tavern, because he can't afford to wait surely to buy it back at the altar, because it's just going to take so long. And one more archer actually being focused down here, and second archer is going to go down as well. Very nice play here by Friend, really making the best of his Naga, and the Demon Hunter not being bought back yet. It's going to be coming back at the tavern soon enough, but I'm amazed he's continuing to build glaive throwers and stuff when he needs to be saving up money to buy back his Demon Hunter at the tavern, which is just such a priority at this point. And we do have one glaive thrower taking a bit of damage, and it is being slowed as well, but being repaired as well, so maybe we'll be able to survive. Demon Hunter back coming up front with this very close to level 6 now, but does have his potion of healing as well, which is, even though he's not at full health, that's going to be very important at this point. Still no Demon Hunter on the way from that altar, and still not having been bought back at the tavern, so really aggressive play here by LsSfow is very much justified. And this 1 Ancient of War can be taken down even with the Demon Hunter as well. Just, it's not great to take extra damage, but when time's such an issue, when you really are very panicked about an enemy Demon Hunter coming back into the battle, this sort of aggression can be very useful. And looks like this Demon Hunter gonna yet again maybe move in to try and do a bit more damage. He flamethrowers in the back, doing a good amount of damage, slowly damaging the archers, but it's really the Fork Lightning that's going to be very important. And we can see another clarity being used as well. Now that all these archers are slightly damaged, they can be taken out so well with these Fork Lightnings. And 2 bases now, these fully mining 2 bases is just so nice here for LsSfow, who's managed to stay alive through so much aggression, and maybe he'll be able to win this game after having looked down almost all the way until he until he lost Friend lost that Demon Hunter. I was pretty sure he's going to win it, but maybe he'll be able to survive now. The Naga has hit level 6, but unlikely to be ever seeing her ultimate at this point. We do have the Tree of Ages, maybe going to be taking a bit too much focus now. This could be bad here for a Friend who maybe is now going to be losing it. We do have all the Demon Hunters now being brought back at the altar. Oh, so late here. But I guess just these are the income problems of Friend. Being down at base, just needs to be building units to try and stay alive, and then also somehow needs to be getting his Demon Hunter back. And then now level 5 on this Naga as well. Fork Lightning comes in here for both players, and a couple archers being taken down here. So that's pretty nice here for a Friend who's actually creeping up to level 7 now. Which isn't even that much of a threat, just more an amazing feat. And looks like we do have a very aggressive dot here moving forward, but it's going to be forced back, and very nice aggression here by Friend in a nice position, being able to continuously push forward. These Ancient of War too slow to try and engage, and oh my god, the Naga does get focused down. Very nice here by Friend. Will that be enough to turn the tide? Maybe, but the Demon Hunter now comes in. Where's the Demon Hunter? Yes, the Demon Hunter's back now. Oh, will Friend be able to survive this now that he has his Demon Hunter and then there's no Naga in sight? Naga gonna be bought back at the tavern, but no mana potion, no clarity potion on it, and then now these Tree of Ages has managed to survive, but no mining at all here for Friend. So really bad news for him if he wants to survive for much longer and doesn't just go straight for the push now. We do have both Demon Hunters very close to level 6. It could become a race to level 6, and at that point you really want to stop losing these archers, but LsSfow is losing 1 archer, going to lose the second one as well. Yes, he does there, and the Demon Hunter edging closer and closer. Naga now getting close to level 7 even. Oh my god. This Tree of Ages now, we can see Friend completely out of money. Finally starting to remine again, but he's going to lose his Tree of Ages, and at this point, so it would be very well advised to try and turn around, but unfortunately, He doesn't have a good TP or anything. And he's actually going to go on the aggressive here. He has 2 bases to 0 bases. He has no rush at all. In fact, Friend's about to be revealed by the looks of things. So in a couple of minutes' time, Toad's going to be very, very happy with the fact that, with the realization that there's no expansion at all for Friend. And Friend might now be best advised to detonate his wisps and go for one final attack. So many archers out here, and we do have this, who's closer to level 6, actually, that could play a big role. It looks like we do have Friend actually further away from level 6 as well, so things really starting to turn around here for LsSfow, who's looking in a great position now. We do have a couple of these great powers. It would be nice if this Ancient of Wind is actually uprooted as well, so even the Ancient of Wonders, bring it in, why not? There's not really too much he's going to be able to do with that Ancient of Wonders anyways. And so really a lot of damage being taken on this Ancient of War. Eventually it is rooting down, and so we'll be able to cause force a bit of a barrier in that, which will give Friend the time to take on this Ancient of War. But still, just 2 bases to 0 bases is not a good story at all, and dust even being used there. Revealing a couple of these archers is going to allow Friend to push a bit further forward if he wants to, but at this point really he does need to get that level 6. That's just one saving grace potentially, but even then so many archers here, and archers do go down so quickly to a level 16 hunter, especially with Fork Lightnings as well like that. Very, very nice. You can see all these archers taking 200 damage, which is just so damage, which is just so much when you consider how easy it is to focus down units when you have glaive throwers as well. But the healing scroll being used, obviously every effort being taken to keep his units alive, so that the so that Friend's Demon Hunter doesn't get that level 6 first. And we do now have this one Ancient of War being taken out for 25 more experience, though it will be split between 2 heroes. And we do have this Demon Hunter now on the run. Does actually take a bit of damage because of that slowing arrow as well. But this Ancient of War going to survive actually for a bit longer. Demon Hunter taking more and more damage, so Friend constantly being forced back. And we do have a healing scroll now being used again by LsSfow, and Friend now being revealed as well. So LsSfow is going to be very, very happy to know that he's in a fantastic position. All he needs to do is survive for a bit longer, and oh my god, the Demon Hunter now taking a lot of damage. Does need to be very, very careful. Does have a TP down to 53 hit, but goes down before he can use the TP because of that huge damaging shot. And oh my god, now maybe Friend's gonna be able to do something. He didn't quite get his level 6. He's 12 experience away from level 6. Does need to just do something to maybe get back into this. We do have the Demon Hunter already being bought back, but he has no mana burn, so he can't deny the Metamorphosis, and we do have just enough mana now for a Metamorphosis. If you can get one unit kill, there's an Ancient of War there. That's going to give him just enough experience that he does. Just by 1, because obviously you get 25 experience divided by 2, and then you round up, so you get 13 experience. That's just enough. Very, very nice play here, and we will be able to see a Metamorphosis at very least, unless we get a sneaky mana burn coming in here. But it looks like we don't. We do have enough mana, yes, on this Demon Hunter, and Demon Hunter, not running straight towards the enemy Demon Hunter though, and instead trying to run about. Maybe I go do some shopping, buy an Invon Pot. It's what really a healing troll would be pretty useful as well, because that would be yeah, she buys both, because obviously there's a lot of area effect damage. There's the Metamorphosed Demon Hunter gonna start to take down these archers one by one, actually more than one by one, 2 by 2 there, and we can see, oh my god, just so much damage coming out here. And we do just have to have weather the storm of the Demon Hunter, and then he can win it, but otherwise he's just gonna take too much damage. One healing scroll being used there. And he does bear in mind have the healing potion and the Invon Pot. At this point, really, I'm not sure there's too much Friend can do, even having his Demon Hunter slowed, which is so bad because it does just lower the DPS too much, and the staff on the Naga going off. But Friend looks like he's, will he be able to get the Demon Hunter kill? I think regardless, he is going to lose this game, but he doesn't even get the kill, and looks like we do have LsSfow trying to, or getting his level 6, and clearing up the rest of these units. I'm not sure if he asked, do you have expansions or something, and then 2, and actually, but he does still have 2 running. So very, very nice play there by both players, but in the end, that early expansion and the fantastic defense of LsSfow was enough to save him. And wow, what an amazing game. Truly excellent. Such constant aggression. Basically, it was 40 minutes of attacks. And attacks, and even when they're creeping, we're still having to defend on one front or another. So amazing game, truly fantastic. So I hope you enjoyed that game, and I'll bring you some games in the near future, folks. Thanks.